Hey guys, we are back. Excuse me, we are back for part two of this very unfortunate expose that is being done on Golden Gate Funeral Home, Dallas based Golden Gate Funeral Home, and John Beckwith Jr., the owner of this funeral home, which he took over from his father. As you just watched in episode one, when we've been covering this story now for about a year, and you got to get a very fresh reminder of what happened and why all of these accusations started kicking off, and and very important for that information, I feel like, to be consumed, especially when we have such a large update as we do that's coming here in part three in just a few minutes. Now that he is being sued by the families of 17 individuals that have accused him of desecrating their family member. And in some cases, not even getting their family members' bodies. Yes, he could absolutely go to jail for this. Yes. But this is more right now of a civil lawsuit situation. This is more of a situation where they want to break him, literally take his money, and maybe possibly put him out of business. It's a very big possibility that could happen. And so we are going to go ahead and get started here. Give me just a sec. Hey, Kathy, how are you? Hey, Third Eye. Hey, Big Puss, baby, how are you? All right, we're going to get started here. We're going to go ahead and get crunk with part two. And again, if you have any questions or whatnot, feel free to put it in the chat. I've got subscriber mode on at this time. I feel like it's really helps to cut down on the troll spam that we're seeing a lot of lately. So if I have to do it every time I do a video, then I will. But we sure didn't get any in our last one, huh? Because they don't want to spend the time to subscribe and stay subscribed long enough just to spam us. But it's just strategies, right? But anyway, let's get started on part two, and then we will lead on in to the final part or the final piece of this for today, in which I will actually be speaking and giving you an update on the events that's going on as of today. So here we go. Bring up this article here. Okay, there we go. So, like I was telling you guys, recently, in the last day or two, right? I'm sitting here, and the old man, he's like, comes where I'm at, and he says, "Hey, check out the news. Go look on NBC 5. Go to Channel 5." And I'm like, "What is he? What I want?" NBC 5 did a whole expose on Golden Gate Funeral Home, based out of Dallas, Texas. Now, we've seen an expose that was done not too long ago by Spectrum News. Apparently, there are now 9 investigations into Golden Gate.
Members of a Dallas family have filed a lawsuit against a well-known funeral home, alleging they were given the wrong ashes. And a former employee accuses the same place of mishandling bodies. The owner of Golden Gate...
Now, watch this, y'all. Watch this. I'm going to go quiet.
Members of a Dallas family have filed a lawsuit against a well-known funeral home, alleging they were given the wrong ashes. And a former employee accuses the same place of mishandling bodies. The owner of Golden Gate Funeral Homes disputes the allegations and says it is not true. Sophia Beausoleil explains.
Every day, as people celebrate a new life that comes into this world, there's someone mourning and reflecting on a life that is left.
She was our everything. We loved her and still do and miss her so much.
As the mother to 4 kids,
she could cook. Yes, I miss her dressing.
Virginia Palmer Rankin, also known as Nora, was the pillar of this family.
She was a force to be reckoned with, especially when it came to her kids. Didn't nobody mess with Nora kids because they didn't want to deal with Nora.
Memories her children hold on to, because on December 19th, 2019, Virginia died at the age of 63 from a number of underlying health issues.
And I was the first person that my cousin called, and she told she said she gone.
A pain that is still raw for Kenora Palmer, her sisters, and brother.
And the one thing my mama always say, don't bury me, cremate me.
So they chose Golden Gate Funeral Home to achieve that wish, but are now questioning the remains that they received in this black box.
Now we're more distraught than ever because we will never know who is in this box. It's like I'm living it all over again. And it's the fact that we'll never have closure. We'll never get the closure that we need.
We can't tell if it's mom or not. The paperwork shows that it's not.
Ryan Sellers and Jack Hales Jr. represent the Palmer family, and in February of this year, filed a lawsuit on their behalf against Golden Gate Funeral Home. The family held their mother's funeral on Saturday, January 4th, 2020. They say they made arrangements to witness their mother's cremation and continue to follow up with the funeral home on January 24th, 25th, and 26th.
So I was like, oh, okay, so where's my mom? And she was like, oh, she's still here. She's still here at the funeral home. We keeping her refrigerated.
But on January 27th, when Virginia's youngest daughter went to pick up her mother's death certificate, she was shocked with what else she received.
I just asked her one question. I said, so when is my mama, when y'all gonna cremate my mama? And she said, I'll be right back.
The family says they were handed a box of ashes, which showed that their mother was cremated on January 6th.
They have an indicator on there that suggests that Virginia Palmer's remains were cremated on January 6th. And as you heard from the Palmer family, they were calling well after that.
One of the directors who was there had said it was going to take a couple of weeks.
The lawsuit alleges the family was never notified of the cremation as promised and was provided an identification number with Virginia's remains that didn't match the numbers on the documents they received, which is why they believe Golden Gate, quote, mishandled or otherwise lost Virginia's remains, unquote.
We're very good at what we do. One of the reasons that we own our own crematory, so we never get that mixed up.
John Beckwith Jr. owns Golden Gate Funeral Home.
This is the entrance in and out of the chapel.
The well-known family business that has been in operation since 1980 and sits along I-35 in South Oak Cliff. Beckwith says he prides himself on customer service and strongly denies the allegations in the lawsuit.
Each person's identified by at least 2 people, the crematory operator, as well as a supervisor. So there's no way we would ever get anyone mixed up.
The Texas Funeral Service Commission says currently there are 9 complaints filed against Golden Gate Funeral Home at both its Dallas and Fort Worth locations, but wouldn't detail the nature of the complaints due to the open investigations.
There's not enough oversight.
Jim Bates is with the Funeral Consumers Alliance of North Texas, a nonprofit that advocates for consumers, and he says they've fielded complaints from the same funeral home as well.
But in all cases, what's consistent with the complaints with Golden Gate is when the consumer calls back, they get stonewalled or not answered at all.
We don't get a lot. You know, last year we had almost 3,000 families, so maybe 10 out of 3,000. To me, that's more than what we need, but we have some families that are just not satisfied at the end of the day.
But one of the recent complaints came from a former employee.
I took that picture because I was in shock.
Isaiah Darris alleges that while he worked at Golden Gate from August of 2020 to February of this year, at one point he saw bodies that had been placed in the back of a U-Haul and accuses the funeral home of not having enough room.
In the back of the morgue, there was bodies stacked up all over the place. There were bodies that were just sitting in the hallways.
We have nothing to hide. No one can ever tell you that they've seen a U-Haul here, that they've ever seen us misplace any loved ones here. They just don't happen to Golden Gate Funeral.
Beckwith vehemently denies these claims and accuses the former employee of being disgruntled and claims the photos were staged.
And we try to keep it 38 degrees or lower.
He says even during COVID, with the influx of bodies, they had space. As for the Palmer family's concerns,
I have an open door policy. I'll be more than happy to walk them through the procedures that we did with their loved one to reassure them that that is definitely their loved one that they have.
the Palmer family says after multiple attempts, they finally did meet with the owner, but say it didn't go well, and they didn't get the answers they wanted about their mother's remains.
I'm going to fight for my mama, because that was my mama. You mistreated my mama, and my mama didn't let nobody mistreat us.
Which is why they're now leaving it up to the courts to get to the bottom of it. In Dallas, Sophia Beausoleil, NBC5.
The owner of Golden Gate Funeral Home confirmed he did meet with the Palmer family and says they did ask for a refund, which he refuses to give them because he says he does not believe his company did anything wrong. Beckwith says his attorneys are now handling the dispute.
Hey, everybody coming into the chat. Hey, Natalie. Hey, Shadow. You guys, I wonder sometimes. The first thing I told the old man when this came on, I was standing here and I was like, damn, I really hope that they'll put this online. I'm so glad that they did. This isn't the first time we've talked about this story, right? And it seems like there's other things I need to tell y'all about Golden Gate, okay? Some of y'all may not know this, and I didn't even really elaborate on any of this in my last video. The one that, I did, oh gosh, was it a month or so ago? It was last month sometime. We covered this whole Golden Gate scandal, okay? So check this. The photographs that were allegedly taken showed dead bodies lying in the back of a Uhaul truck and a lot of trash on the floor, filth, in the areas where, there are dead bodies, okay? Decaying corpses. Now, one thing that I asked out loud was, what is Uhaul gonna do about it? Uhaul has a sense of responsibility here also. If you know that your trucks are being used in an inappropriate way, or the possibility that your trucks are being used in an inappropriate way, it's not the first time that I've ever heard of Uhaul. They have a list of people that get banned from using Uhaul, and there's several funeral homes on that list. I don't know what it is about, using the back of U-Haul trucks to store dead bodies, but these photos that were taken by a former employee were sent out to, like I said, over 100 recipients with the photos attached. Several news organizations got these photos, and thankfully, as of now, there seems to be 2 legit news organizations that have run this story. Spectrum News, and now our local NBC DFW Channel 5. So, the story's been a bit underground for quite a while. And some of the other accusations is that, there's deplorable conditions inside the funeral home and an overcrowded morgue, and just one of the accusations, this is all allegedly, guys. The man who took the photos says only some of the bodies were embalmed. Others were simply left exposed on stretchers and on cots on the floor. There are bodies outside in the garage, said Darris. They've been all in the hallway, blocking the doors, blocking the exit doors. It's like a slaughterhouse. Now, excuse me, y'all. Now, one of the things about Golden Gate that they're known for is these elaborate funerals that they pull off. Okay. Like if you're one of the type of people that when you die, you want a funeral of you know, that shows you standing up in a corner somewhere, you know, you're dead, they'll make that happen. Okay. That's something thing we didn't talk about. So like, while let me show y'all this. So Golden Gate Funeral also had managed to get put on a show. Was it TLC? They somehow managed to create this show about Golden Gate Funeral Home. And they do these really elaborate, like I said, funerals. But you know, John, Mr. Beckwith, sir, come on, man. We're talking about a cremation. A cremation, you know, in the city of Dallas can't be no more than $1,000, $1,500, right? The question I would have is, will he regret just not refunding the family their money? This wasn't no $10,000 elaborate funeral that you held. We're talking about cremation. And did I hear you right when you said that you have your own crematorium? Can anybody tell me what's possibly wrong with that? So did the Nazis. They had their own crematorium too. Now, I'm not calling you anywhere near the Nazis, you know.
We could have your celebration.
Now, listen, I want y'all to see this. Y'all deserve to see this. This is, now this was going on back in 2012, 2013. And if you're a part of Dallas, you hear the stories of Golden Gate. I mean, you hear the stories and the crazy funerals that they put on over there. I heard at one point, you guys, but they were doing like 10 funerals a day. All right, here we go, y'all. I want y'all got to see this. Fair use. Disclaimer, disclaimer.
Funeral Home and Crematory. This is Tracy. How may I help you?
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. My name is John Beckwith Jr. I am the Chief Executive Officer of Golden Gate Funeral Home. And y'all know this is going to be an extremely busy week. The Golden Gate experience is our version of the traditional African-American homegoing celebration. We do not have generic funerals. Everybody's experience has to be different.
A homegoing is much different than a funeral. Homegoing is a celebration.
Daddy was a disco dancing machine. Daddy knew how to do the what pussy.
We could have your celebration anything.
If they want to dunk a basketball, Golden Gate Funeral Home can make that happen for them. If they want to jump out of airplanes, Golden Gate Funeral Home can make that happen. Our services are over the top. That's why I have to have 110% commitment from my funeral plan. Anything less than that, and I'm showing you the door. If we continue to work together like I know we can, we're going to make these families extremely happy at the worst moments of their lives.
I mean, I don't even know what to say. Now, oh my gosh. I mean, that's his lick, okay? That's his business, you know, that's what he does at his place of business, you know. I'm not hating on it. Some people do want a interesting or unique homegoing. No question about that. Some really, really do. They want something unique. And I don't know if you guys have ever been to one of these funerals, but they are quite interesting, to say the least. He has a funeral home in Fort Worth and Dallas. And, you know, I know this is going to be kind of hard for his business. I know that. I know that, you know, all of this, you know, criticism and, you know, and things that are coming, it's not the type of press that Mr. Beckwith would want. Of course, I understand that. I think that anybody can ask anybody who's a business owner, you know, of a funeral home that gives off these really elaborate funerals. Is there anything that you could have done better? You know, Mr. Beckwith, you are well known in the Dallas area. I mean, even people out in the country parts, you know, my parts of the world where, you know, my friends, and I love the country, y'all. I do. We've even heard of Golden Gate Funeral Home. And I say we. I'm a country girl at the heart at the end of the day. Fall right on back in. Fry me up some frog legs and I'm down. I don't know if y'all eat frog legs, but they're actually pretty good. It's just like it's like chicken. A real delicate piece of meat. Okay. Like chicken. Just fry them up. Actually really good. It's a very unique send-off, and my understanding, there is, like I said, 9 investigations going on at this point against Mr. Beckwith. And let me find this other video that I did a month or so ago. I actually covered this story. Hold on, a month or so ago. Hold on. I'm telling you, if you guys want some very interesting things to look at, just go do a search on Golden Gate Funeral Home on YouTube. Wait a minute. Hold up. What is this? A TV ad. Must see. Y'all, let's just see this. Hold up. Okay, this is a TV ad that they did. Look at this.
Where am I?
You've passed away, my son. This is your funeral.
Wow, the new 300. These cars are beautiful.
Let it resound loud as the rolling sea.
I've never looked this good before. How can my family afford all of this?
They made the smart choice. They chose Golden Gate Funeral Home.
Yeah, that's a TV ad. Pretty wild, right? Hold on, guys. Just hold that thought. Because there's some pictures I want to show you guys that I've got in my previous video. Time. All right. I'm gonna mute There this. Is a family right. Let's mute that. Hold on, guys. There we go. Mute it and then go ahead and play this. Now I'm going to show these photos. Viewer discretion is advised. Again, Spectrum News dropped this expose a month or so ago, right? And now NBC has followed up yesterday. Okay. Like on my Check video. This.
We loved her and we miss her. And now we don't have nothing to.
Oh, what I mean. Hey, Kimberly Hicks.
Anitra Palmer of Dallas still grieves the loss of her mother, Virginia Rankin, who died just over a year ago. But her grief is accompanied by anger that she and her family.
There it is. Here's the photo. Here's the photo, guys. That's the photo of the back of the U-Haul truck. This photo was sent out to well over 100 recipients. Majority of those, I mean, pretty much every single one of those recipients had some sort of involvement in news or reporters or investigative, you know, people that are investigators and that sort of a thing. This photo, and this is all allegedly, is alleged to have depicted 9 dead bodies in the back of the U-Haul truck that was parked outside Golden Gate Funeral Home for a long time. There's more photos. I'll let this go. Y'all check out these additional photos. Yeah. Could you imagine if your loved one was treated like that? You know, Mr. Beckwith, you know, sometimes you just have to take a step back and recenter, right? Just recenter, redo everything like from the inside out. All of it. The fact that he wouldn't even return their money, the family's money, can't be no more than $1,500 for a crematorium. I mean, you know, I remember, well, hell, my father was cremated. My biological father was cremated back in 2012, and it wasn't even over $1,000 to do it. Sometimes it's better to just give people their money back. And I mean, now these are the photos that were taken inside of the funeral home. And John Beckwith is not even denying that these photos are real. He's not even denying that. But what he's saying is that these photos were staged. What do you guys think? There's still dead bodies in them, right? I don't think they were staged. I can see dirt on that floor. That has to have been on that floor weeks. Unless they were, you know, planning to stage it for a long, long time. I mean, you could see the filth crawling up from the floor onto, you know, these things here. Listen, I'm not here to try to fuck with this man's funeral home or nothing like that, okay? That's not what I'm trying to do. Not trying to hurt business or anything. But this is what it is. This is what it is. My understanding, there were several photos that were sent out.
You know, blocking the doors, blocking the exit doors. So I mean, it's like.
I want you to listen to what Darius is saying. He is a former employee of the funeral home. He's the one that took these photos. He's the one that got these photos out to the public. So, you know, honestly, I pat you on the back, sir. That is a U-Haul rental truck. Let's continue.
That's really vexing. You know, that could be, you know, that could be, you know, your mother, my father, my grandmother, especially the body that was face down with no clothes on. That, you know, it's very inappropriate.
Darius shared other photos he says he took of corpses in a cramped room and wherever else bodies could be stored, some embalmed, others left exposed on stretchers and on cots on the floor.
Look at the filth.
There's bodies outside in the garage. But all, you know, they've been all in the hallway, you know, blocking the doors, blocking the exit doors. So I mean, it's like I said, it's like a slaughterhouse. And unless you go behind the scenes to actually see it, you would never think that just being from up front that it looks the way that it does from the back.
There's no room in the freezer. So they're just stored. There's bodies everywhere. They're just stored like that.
Chantel Major worked at Golden Gate with Darius. She says she witnessed the bodies being stacked in the rental truck last summer.
What if an inspector from the state were to walk in there today? What would they likely see?
A horror film. They will see bodies everywhere, stored places they shouldn't. They will smell decomposing bodies, all type of human decomposition matter that no one, even us that work in the morgue, should be subject to.
Major says she was fired recently for speaking out about substandard conditions at the funeral home. Darris claims he left Golden Gate on his own. But Golden Gate owner John Beckwith Jr. says Darris was fired in February, but did not say why. Beckwith also declined to talk with us on camera, which is surprising. As it appears, he is anything but camera shy.
Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
My name is John Beckwith Jr.
Beckwith was one of the stars of his own TV reality show called Best Funeral Ever on the TLC cable channel. Over the course of 2 seasons, Golden Gate gained fame as one of the most flamboyant funeral homes in the nation. As for the allegation that behind the scenes, corpses are being improperly stored and stacked, Beckwith told us by phone, quote, "I've never used a Uhaul for storage. I'm telling you that didn't happen here." That was staged by Isaiah himself or whoever took the picture. As for Darris's other photographs of multiple corpses stored in a back room, Beckwith told us, quote, "Looks like he kind of staged some things and took a sheet off somebody's head. I don't have a problem with that photo. I do have a problem with a person who would expose a deceased person like that."
Over the years, they have been the most consistent funeral home I know of in Texas that's been complained about.
Jim Bates of the Funeral Consumers Alliance of Texas has been in the mortuary business for 30 years. He says his organization has received 4 complaints against Golden Gate since September.
There's an individual right here.
He had not seen the photo of the bodies in the back end of the truck until we showed him.
But mostly, of course, it's just terrible looking because it's not covered up. But it's stiff, and it's turning colors.
What does that tell you?
It's not embalmed.
And the problem with that is?
Rapid decomposition of a human body.
State law says?
State law says that body's got to be refrigerated in 24 hours or it's got to be embalmed.
We also showed the photos to the Palmer family attorneys who say this could help explain the unauthorized cremation of Virginia Rankin.
You should have maybe given me a warning on this one. This is pretty bad. Wow. What we're seeing here is not carelessness, but gross disregard for the value of life.
The Palmer family feels Golden Gate is taking on more business than it can handle and is inviting disaster and doing a disservice to the community.
People all throughout Dallas County, they trust and believe in Golden Gate.
Yeah.
It's not just this family.
How many families they done did this to?
Right.
But we loved our mama so much that we had to do something.
We had to speak.
Mr. Beckwith,
Wow.
sir, you need to get your shit together. You need to get your shit together, sir. I mean, it looks like to me, that he also, it does appear that way, like he took on more than he could chew, right? And then, of course, when the pandemic came in, and, when there was a heightened, level of people dying, needing to be buried, it kind of does look like he maybe took on more than he could chew or whatever. I don't know. But what I do know is that there's no reason the back of that funeral home should be looking like that. It looks filthy. Just get it together. Get it together, Mr. Beckwith. I mean, if you can't handle the amount of work that's coming into your funeral home, tell people no. You don't have to, say yes to everything, right? You need to get your stuff together. This is a horrible, horrible situation. It's really sad. I don't think Darris is to blame, though. I mean, and I don't believe all them photos are staged either. The one thing I do know is Uhaul has yet to make a statement on their thoughts on this matter. Even though we have pushed on Uhaul to make a statement, we've asked Uhaul to make a statement about this, because in previous past incidents, Uhaul has taken the steps to ban funeral homes that have done these sorts of things. So I don't know what Uhaul is going to do about this situation. We're still waiting for a statement from them. Anyway, I hope you guys have a fantastic Sunday. Until next time.
All right, guys. Well, there you go. That is part 2 of that expose. And now you see, like, wow, right? It's unbelievable. And it is a weird energy, right? It is. And this has been going on for like over a year. And it's so, and I'll never forget when the coronavirus hit, is when it really got bad. Because see, the thing about it is this: he'll hire like young people that are just like started out in life, that sort of a thing, because it's cheaper to pay them, right? And they can work on getting whatever certificates they need to ultimately work in that funeral home. And you know, to me, I see him as somebody who feels like he's helping out the community or whatever, because that is, you know, he is in a pretty rough part of Dallas, if you want the honest truth about it. And so, but expecting people to come in and constantly watch how you put dead bodies in the back of U-Hauls and partially cover them with sheets and crap like that. No, there was nothing staged about that. That's just something that I think Mr. Beckwith said, because what else could he possibly say? You know, he doesn't want to tell the truth. Like, yeah, it's totally fucked up. I totally, you know, it's disgusting. I haven't kept it up like I should. I've taken on too much business than I probably should have. Blase. But you know, Queen, there's always another side to the story, right? There's always another side to the story. I've given Mr. Beckwith an opportunity to speak to me. I've reached out to him a couple of times and he's never responded. So, you know, I'm not going to sit up here and chase this man around trying to get his side of the story. And we've got photos of 8 dead bodies in the back of a U-Haul truck, you know, not to mention the photos of how the inside of that funeral home looks, that crematorium and that funeral home looks. And that's what scares me, is the fact is that they do have a crematorium, because you already know what that means. And I don't say this to say a light, but the Nazis had a crematorium too, right? We're talking about people getting ashes of family members, and they don't even know if that's their family members' ashes. It's disgusting. You know, how could you, even for a day, put a human body in the back of a U-Haul truck, man? And then sit up there and say them photos are staged. He can't deny that those bodies were under his care. He's in a bit of a sticky legal situation. That's why it's just always better just to tell the truth about stuff, admit when you fuck up, deal with the consequences of it, and move on. But this is the problem here, really, 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 is the fact that those people asked for their money back, and rightfully so. Like, look how you did their family member. Why would anybody want to see a NBC5 news report, which covers the entire city of Dallas, on top of Spectrum, which did the first investigative report on you, and want to see their family member halfway covered up with a sheet? And you're not going to pay them back? Oh, no, you're going to not only pay me back, but you're going to pay me some interest on that money too. It's the audacity of you, sir. And the only thing that I have to say to it really is, would it have been cheaper for you just to have refunded those people for them supposed cremations that cost no more than $400 and $500? Or is it going to be cheaper for you whenever all these lawsuits come down on your head and you end up having to close Golden Gate because you're not going to be able to afford to operate it anymore? 10 funerals in a night, dude, really? When you're taking on, and there, Corona, listen, I know coronavirus may have a lot to do with the increase and all that stuff, but that still don't give him a right to treat those people's bodies like that. We had people's bodies overflowing like crazy all over the United States, and at least the hospitals used refrigerated trucks, for God's sakes, okay? They didn't go and rent a Uhaul. Now, I know a lot of weird, effed up stuff was done and all of that, but I'm just saying, though. And it's not even just the fact that this has happened just one time, two times. Like, multiple people have came and have talked to you about this situation. This has been going on for some years. Like Faye Brown said in the comments, this was reported 3 years ago. Yes, it was. This funeral home is the #1 reported funeral home in the state of Texas in regards to complaints. It's been that way for years. It's awful. There's obviously some managerial issues going on. It's obvious that you do not have a handle on it like you may seem to think, Mr. Beckwith, sir. And I mean, you know, a lot of attention came to him because of that TLC show and all of the, you know, the razzle and the dazzle and the dancing and, you know, let's fly a dead body out of a helicopter. You know, if that's what they want to do, let's bury them in their Mercedes Benz. If that's what they want to do, let's bury them standing up. You know, all that type of elaborate shit. And listen, y'all know I get down with some weird shit, okay? And I've looked at a lot of things like that. And there is a very interesting, macabre topic in regards to the dead and how the dead is laid to rest, okay? There's a lot of different manners in which that's done. And whether or not you believe in that, and regardless or not, it's not your body, really, at the end of the day. So if somebody wants to be standing up for 3 days until they're put into the ground, then that's their right. They want to be buried in their Mercedes Benz. Oh, Lord, won't you buy me a Mercedes Benz? Sorry, I felt like saying that. Oh, I must say amen. Oh, y'all know I can't sing. But no, that's Janis Joplin, by the way. But yeah, like to sit there and say that it was staged, was all that dirt staged too? You know, the levels of dirt that I would have needed to lay like a half a bottle of Lysol on, had to have let it sit, you know, then allow to soak it up with some paper towels, and then would have had to hit it again with another, you know, fresh spray. That was a lot of dirt and filth, sir. You know, it's very obvious things are not being taken care of the way that they need to be. And it's like, don't use the easy way out. Exactly, Allah. Like, don't use the easy way out of this, sir. You could sit up there and complain about the numbers and how bad it was when Rona hit and all that, but sir, you were still taking them bodies every single time. When they came and said, hey, we've had another death. Hey, we got another body. Did you ever turn one down? Because I know several hospitals and funeral homes that did. They could not handle it. Did you ever turn it down? Or was the money just too much? Was it too much for you? Just couldn't turn it down because of greed, right? Greed's a motherfucker. But the one thing I do know is that the chickens are coming home to roost now. 17 families have now filed lawsuits against you, sir. 17 families. That's a lot of families. And look at all the turmoil that's going to cause. 17 different families. Ain't no telling how many people in each family involved. All of them think they're going to get something at the end of the day. And, you know how money causes issues in families every damn time. It's just so unfortunate. And to see these family members, just their hearts torn out. I mean, my question to Mr. Beckwith Jr., since you're so, you are always up on the junior part and everything like that, is, your father. How would you feel if your father was done like that? You just gonna sit there on the other side of that desk and tell them people that you're sorry, but really on the inside, you could give a fuck less. Can I get a refund because you fucked this up so bad and you gave me the ashes of another person? Sorry, ma'am. No, we will not be able to refund you. Are you kidding me? So not only are you going to end up paying for them refunds times 10, you may have some other situations to deal with. But worst of all, it's called karma, sir. Karma. Your reputation in Dallas is over. That reputation that you built, in the last 10 years, and you were trying to get on that TLC show, and you got on there for a minute there. But I'm just saying, that reputation that you built for yourself, you opened up that other Golden Gate in Fort Worth. I think it's in Fort Worth or whatever. And it's like, my God, you can't even keep up with the work in the first Golden Gate, and you up here opening up more of them. It's insane. And I'm just saying, like, your time it's here, sir. You may not see it right now, but your time is the chickens are coming home to roost. And you're gonna wish you would have just gave them people back their damn $500. Or maybe you charged them $1,000, but we know it don't cost no more than $400 and $500 to cremate somebody. At the most $700. I mean, come on. A U-Haul truck? Why didn't you just cremate the bodies? It's just, there's so much so wrong with this entire situation. And I just feel like Mr. Beckwith is not taking any accountability in this situation at all, whatsoever. None, zero. And the very fact that you didn't refund one person in your company fucked up, that tells me so much. But a U-Haul? Really? A U-Haul? Now, my understanding is there are people that have been banned from using U-Hauls when they have used like funeral homes, when they've been used to store like dead bodies and things like that. My understanding is that will get you banned. I wonder if you've been banned, because I did try to call U-Haul a few months. Oh, this was last year sometime. It was a few months after all this kicked off. And, they wouldn't really give me any information, of course. Oh, we'll take the story down and we'll, research or whatever. But I never heard anything back. But I would hope that you've been banned from renting. But it doesn't even matter. All he's got to do is go get a budget truck or a Hertz truck or whatever. But why didn't you just call out for some help? There's surely there was something that you could have did other than put the bodies in the back of that U-Haul like that, man. And then you sit there and you bring these brand new workers on. This kid ain't more than 20, 21 years old. That's a lot to put on a 20, 21-year-old's shoulders, man. 22, however old he is. You really want to call this man a liar. And he's got proof. He's showed photos, pictures. He literally put together this list of 186 email addresses to try to get traction to this story. There was nothing staged about that. The only honest thing that he ever said was it was dirty in that funeral home. You really didn't even elaborate on that, but it was filthy, disgusting. And the smell that people say that they smell emanating, Sir, I'm sorry, sir, but we are going to go ahead and move it on to part 3. I'm about to end this particular live. And I'll be back and we'll finish this on up. Much love, Queen, baby. It's good to see you in here tonight. Be right back, guys.